Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the No Life Digital Tech and Gaming Podcast. Every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern here on the DIY or Die Twitch channel. Also streaming over at the No Life Digital YouTube page. Every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We didn't see you last week, but we're here this week. Lots of news. Big story going on. The Smash scene completely obliterated. Kaput. Everyone, it's a reckoning. EVO 2020 is canceled thanks to more sexual misconduct allegations. The Last of Us 2 team getting death threats all over the place. They've had enough. Is the $70 game inevitable? We talk about that. Horizon Zero Dawn, top seller on Steam despite it not being released yet. Is Microsoft interested in purchasing Warner Brothers Interactive? We get a Watch Dogs 2 game for free this weekend. And then in tech, TikTok is in trouble. The Chinese Communist government is taking over. And we got some camera leaks to go over. Other than that, that's all we got for you this week. Let's jump into the show. Let's bring on the co-hosts. What's going on, co-hosts?
I'm still not used to the music.
Yo, what up?
Like that's all I gotta say for right now.
It's
Just
so
still
Persona 5. I love it. I love that track.
It's it's a good track, but it's still like you just still. I know it's been like a couple of months now, but you randomly started doing that, and I'm still never.
No. You guys
track
randomly started hearing it. See, I
Well,
always.
yeah, that's what I meant is that we can also hear all of
Yeah.
your sound effects, and like it's more the fact you never told us, so I'm still like not expecting it because we had 2 years of not expecting it. I got a lot of muscle memories to retrain still.
Is it the Beneath the Mask from
No,
Persona 5?
No, it's
That's my favorite.
It's just a track that sounds like it that I found.
I was gonna say
Yeah, it sounds just like it though, don't it?
I can listen to that Beneath the Mask rain instrumental for like 10 hours.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
Leave it on. It's so good.
Yeah, what kind of genre is that? It's just like, I forget the
Not
name
like
of it.
jazz.
It's
but
like it's not like trip hop either. It's I forget the name.
chill hop.
Chill hop maybe. Yeah, maybe a little
I
chill
love.
hop.
Don't get me wrong. I love chill hop. Like it's the easiest listening music in the world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and
great,
it's also
great background sound.
extremely popular right now too. That's for sure. Oh yeah, let me see if I can. Here we go. Does this work? Can you guys hear this?
Wow.
Did you guys hear that?
Wow.
Here, wow, yeah.
All right, good. All right, let's get into it. Have you guys been playing any games? Any new games? Any games?
I've been playing a lot of NetPlay Melee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the netcode's actually not bad.
What do you do? Is it like through an emulator?
So the guys behind it put out their own version of the Dolphin emulator, which is like GameCube Wii emulator. You have to supply your own version of the game, of course, the 1.02 version of Melee. Essentially, it runs an updater through it. So they recently updated it to include the just regular Pokemon Stadium stage with no transformations. You create an account. And then you get in, you can either play against other people or just play on ranked randoms. Usually about 2 frame delay, but it's rollback netcode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2 frame delay. I'm generally running 60 FPS. Depending on matchups, I've had anywhere as low as like 15 ping to anywhere as high as like 100 ping. 100 ping matches are kind of the ones I just bail immediately out of.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad though for
It
like an
plays
indie project.
fantastic. Oh, and it supports up to I think 106. It supports like 144 hertz monitors and stuff. So
it's got to be a peer-to-peer server system, right? It can't be. I can't imagine
it's definitely peer-to-peer, but because it's rollback, it's generally pretty good. And the guys who did it, it's better than any netcode I've seen on any Smash Brothers game. And it's Melee.
I might have to check that out.
Topical game choice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of the way that the GameCube.
Well, now there's a vacuum in the system. He's gonna scoop in there.
Because of the way that the GameCube adapter works, the GameCube adapter that you use for Smash on like the Wii U and Switch,
Yeah.
you can actually plug it into your USB on your computer, and it'll recognize your GameCube controller.
Okay.
So I use that to play Melee with the GameCube controller. I'm pretty bad. I get bodied a lot, but it's still fun to like learn.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've been maining mostly Marth, some Cat and Falcon. There's a lot of Falcos. It's Falcos and Foxes everywhere.
Oh yeah. Mark is
Yeah.
the coolest character.
The Spaceys, yeah.
That's fair.
I've
If
been
you want old games, I've finally since I've owned a PS4 and you guys have told me to play this for, I don't know, is it 3 years old now? I finally have played Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
It's good. It's a good
I
game.
finally played Spider-Man.
It's great.
It's a really good game. It's also a really flawed game in my opinion, and it's a really good launch title, I think, for what they're doing with the PS5. Like the actual gameplay itself is fantastic.
Yeah.
I hate how a lot of any boss fight is handled.
Yeah.
They're all trash. Any boss fight in that game is fucking trash.
Wow.
And I'm expecting it to be the same way, where it's not rewarding. Any on the hardest difficulty, it's still
it's an
bullshit.
easy game. It's an easy game.
And well, no, it is, and it's weird because it's more annoying that like the game's difficulty is like Arkham almost, where it's numbers. Like when you have 500 people that don't matter, that's when the game's actually hard. But the boss fights are all just very unrewarding, in my opinion.
I
Because
mean-
it's just on rails. It's on rails cutscenes.
Yeah,
basically.
it's
I mean, remember when the trailer came out and everyone was kind of worried, oh, the QuickTime events, is this going to be like a huge part of the game? And it's not a huge part of the game, but it is noticeable when it happens. You're like, kind of don't want to do this. QuickTime events kind of suck.
Yeah, it's not so much QuickTime events. It's the fact that the QuickTime events are it's all the boss fights. It's all like the things that are supposed to be the most rewarding aspect of the entire game. Like when you start finding the villain character and stuff, and you're now like, okay, I just have to go up or sideways. This is the boss fight. This is fucking dumb.
Yeah, it gets very rinse and repeaty. It's not.
I think the
it
last
doesn't
boss
push
fight's
any
pretty good.
boundaries at all.
I like the last boss fight. I like the
And it
ones that
definitely-
have you like
I will admit I haven't gotten to the last boss fight. I'm like 75% through it. But
Did you get the DLC as well?
yeah, I have all the DLCs for
Okay.
it, I'm pretty sure. I think
Holding
But
off
no,
on the
like-
DLCs like I did was, I think, the best move because it's really well done when you play all the DLCs together.
that's what I'm planning on doing, because it's like the story's good, the writing's good. Like I'm actually this gets me more into Marvel than Marvel movies do, honestly.
Mhm.
Like it is a good engaging story, but the pacing's a little weird, and that's where I get mad, I guess, is because the Bane first big boss fight is such a letdown and so easy and unrewarding that it starts falling apart because it does kind of ruin the story that was really
What is that?
gripping,
The
engaging, and well
Kingpin?
paced.
Is it the Kingpin boss fight?
No,
the first one?
not that. That's like the intro. That's whatever.
Yeah.
No, that's the shitty part. Is
Or is
like
that Shocker?
Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
that
Miss
fight-
Negative.
That fight was trash. It was trash. Like it was 100% trash fight, and like that's what like the whole first half of the game is building to, is this epic conflict, and it's really unrewarding, and that kind of
It's
sucks.
with the helicopters and everything. Yeah.
Well, and those parts were kind of cool.
Did
but
you
then
know?
once
Like
you
that's the
actually,
thing is
get
like, did you collect everything? Or are you not big on collectathons?
no, I'm not bothered collecting everything, but
Okay, see.
I've gotten enough to get most of this. Like I got most of this stuff just
It's
because like
definitely one of the-
I don't fast travel in the game basically. So if I run by
Okay.
something, I grab it.
Well, that's the thing is the fast travel is super slow in that game, which is why when they showed off the fast travel with the PS5, where it's like, oh, it loads immediately. It was like, oh, that's actually a useful thing for fast travel because that game, if you do a fast travel, you're sitting through 3 loading screens.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
True, but I'd also like to me. So Kate, when she plays it, she does fast travel a lot, and for me, I don't, just because. Yes, it does take you out of the game, but it's like it's fucking Spider-Man. I don't want to ride the subway somewhere.
Plus,
I want to
swinging
get
around is
there.
actually
Yeah.
fun in that game. Swinging around's one of the most enjoyable things in it.
Well, no, it is. Like honestly, it is. And then like the random fights you get into and like little side stuff, like that
Yeah.
is the fun of the game. That is what's rewarding in that game, and like feels like they've done a really good job. That's why I was disappointed with the boss fights.
Yeah,
It's 'cause,
I
like,
mean, I
in
didn't.
comparison to like the side missions or shit you just run into, that stuff's way harder.
Yeah,
It's way harder.
I didn't mind the boss fights too much. I was kind of indifferent towards them. They're just fun little. To me, they were just like fun little events. Like more a lot like nothing felt like very epic. There's one scene where you're in the bank, I think, which is a really fun scene. I love the last boss fight, but there wasn't too many that were like super memorable.
No,
But
none of
overall,
them
the-
are. That's
Overall, I
That
bet
was
I'm
what-
sure you would say like overall the game's really fun. Like it's just
oh no,
so
the
fucking
game's
fun.
the game's really good. That's just like a very big disappointment of it, because going back to that, like that's why I'm annoyed with how let down I feel by the boss fights, is because a lot of the story writing did build up to this epic nature. It was actually paced really well, and like
Mhm.
you got to it really well. A lot of it was building to a really cool climax for a lot of these stories, and then you actually get to that like climactic part of excitement, and it's just like, here's a thing.
I
Here's a
think
quick
the-
time event.
I think the Shocker Vulture boss fight, I actually did enjoy that one a lot because it was like
Yeah,
it was
but that
supposed to
was
be like
still
a
even the
puzzle boss
same.
fight.
It was
Yeah, it was
still
supposed to be
even
like a
the
puzzle
same, though.
boss fight, but that
Yeah,
There's
they're
still
not.
rinse and
one
repeat of
fight.
like once you
Yeah.
figured it out, just keep doing it.
yeah,
Okay.
it's the Zelda.
And
It's the Zelda formula.
Yeah, and then like the harder up in difficulty you go, it's not any more difficult. You just got to do it longer now.
Yeah, the difficulty comes in where you're going into like you have to like take over the compounds or whatever, and you have all the enemies shooting at you, and
Yeah,
only like a couple
exactly.
hits.
Wait,
And those are fun
oh,
as
man.
hell.
Yeah, that's the
If
best.
you
That's
like
the
the
game at its
waves-
best.
If you like the waves, the DLC has like some of the hardest waves.
Oh, that's good. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just I think it's a great fun game. It's something groundbreaking.
No, like, but
Um,
it is. I'm glad I finally played it, and I'm happy I kind of like saved it till a time I could actually just go through most of it. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
it's a good game. It's really worth it. It is a lot of fun.
Are you
I
excited
just-
for the new
those-
one?
Yeah, to be honest, like
Yeah.
to an extent, I'm not gonna go buy a PlayStation for it. Like that's where I am a little worried about. That is like this is like the hallmark like A-B+ game where it's like, no, you're just gonna sit there. It's a joy to play. You're gonna have a lot of fun, but like
Now, did you play God of War?
I'm not mad at myself that I waited 2.5 years to buy this or actually play this game. Like
Mhm.
that's how I feel about it.
I was gonna say, did you play God of War yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So between the two of them, because like those were one of the like top two contenders, would you go God of War over Spider-Man?
That's actually a little hard.
That was when we
God-
were
God
going through it,
of
that was
War-
hard to do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's a tough
God of
one.
War. I played God of War first because when I bought the PlayStation, those were the two games I got. I got Spider-Man for free and I bought God of War, and I played God of War instantly, and I put off Spider-Man for 2 years. I would have played God of War first no matter what, and if there was a new one, I'd still probably play it first, just because nothing in Spider-Man is going to be a spoiler. You know what I mean? Like it's all.
You're gonna win at the end of the day, you know.
Well, it's that, but it's just like, okay, so there is a lot of cool spoiler-ish things in this game, which I'm not going to talk about, of like how it's paced and like what bosses you actually fight, who are the villains, but you know, like it's still 80 years of Spider-Man where,
Yeah.
there's probably these sets of enemies are probably going to show up in this
Well,
game.
that was
Like
one
you
of the
start with
things.
Kingpin. That's not
Yeah.
shocking, you know what I mean?
That was one of the
But
things.
God of War,
with, like,
who fucking knows? I don't want to get spoiled.
I was gonna say that was one of the things with Spider-Man was like Mr. Negative being the primary focus of antagonist is not that's not one of your what they call the Sinister Six, the big six Spider-Man bad guys.
Statch,
Right.
So that was a thing.
Statch says in the chat, I did like how they switched up the feel of the world map after the breakout. If
I
you
do.
remember.
Yes, that was really
Yeah,
that was
that's
really
fucking awesome.
And that was why I was disappointed with the fight before that, the Mr. Negative fight, because the the payoff came too late, I guess, of like, okay, so like the way they was ramped up is like Mr. Negative's gonna be this big evil fight,
Yeah.
and it was really fucking simple, and then you wait a half hour of gameplay and oh no, here it is. Here's the challenge, here's the epicness.
Mhm.
Like, which is kind of cool, but it was all I don't know, that was just weird to me, and I wish there was a little bit more in the Mr. Negative build up to that, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of agree. I don't think any of the boss fights were really that memorable. Not in the way that some other games have been.
'Cause, yeah, once you get to after the prison, like it's fucking awesome. Like
Yeah.
everywhere you look, there's so much to do. It's really cool, and it's also cool how as you do things, they don't just respawn. Basically, like it does. You do actually can tell you're like making a difference in the map and things like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also am still. I've been. Where's Harlem? This still bugs me so fucking much that like there's just now a gigantic fucking river north of Manhattan in Harlem, like going through Harlem. I don't
Which
know
is-
why this bugs me so much, but like this still fucking painfully irks me of
Which hurts
Here-
because there's so many heroes in Marvel history that come from Harlem.
I know. Like what is it? Why is there now just a gigantic
like an ocean.
Nile-sized river through all of Manhattan? Like what is this? Where did this come from? Why?
One thing I am excited to see how this next gen kind of introduces the scale of the city, because I think one thing I want more out of Spider-Man is just more city. I want more areas, more fights, places I can go into. Like, give me more off the beaten path that I can get into some mischief in, rather than kind of like big set pieces to just set up a big boss fight in.
It's
I
kind of
wanna
feel like
get
how
into the
they
nooks
how
and
they did it with
crannies.
the city, and the DLC was like, all right, we're gonna go underground for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's cool, but like, are the next Spider-Man, are we gonna be limited to just the city, or are we gonna eventually like have multiple areas to visit? Are we gonna be able to check out maybe
Well,
world traveling?
Well, no, you can't. You got to stay inside of New York, I think, because that is one of my. I've brought this up to you while playing this. While Kate and I were both playing it, Spider-Man doesn't work outside New York City. He doesn't. Like if you
Unless
don't have a
he's teaming
giant.
up for something, but yeah.
Even
then
even
it's-
that though, like his entire mode of transportation is very reliant on having
That was like the thing
skyscrapers.
in the Homecoming movie where he's in the suburbs and it's like, where am I supposed to swim?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you don't. Like, he just doesn't work as a superhero outside of a giant metropolis
Yeah.
city like that. You know what I mean? So you'd have to stay there. Like maybe go to like China. Like that would be kind of interesting if you go to like
Yeah.
Beijing or some other, or like Dubai or like something
That would be
some
rad.
other
Tokyo.
mega city.
Imagine
Like
flying through
that
Tokyo.
could work. But what I want is. I think there's still a lot more they could do there. Where it's like, if I think New York, I don't just think Manhattan. And a lot of this game is relying on Manhattan, basically. Like
Yeah.
there is still Brooklyn, there's still Queens, there's still you can still go over into Jersey. Like there is a lot more to what I think of New York than just here's a strip up to Harlem until an invisible river cuts through it.
Mhm. Has Spider-Man ever been outside of the U.S.? Has there ever been any media of Spider-Man outside the U.S.?
I mean, literally, the last movie was all of him in Europe.
Which one was that?
Far From Home.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, that whole thing was built with him in being in Europe.
Hmm. Was that it?
I mean, there's been
It's
other
usually
iterations
New York
of
City,
Spider-Man
right? It's
world
usually-
traveling. There's been him with the Avengers. There's been plenty of of Spider-Man media outside of New
Yeah, I
York.
was thinking all of the Avengers stuff, but like still I don't that still seems weird to me and dumb to me. It's just like,
I mean,
hey dude, we're
Lord
getting
Spider-
Spider-Man. He's the greatest superhero ever until you take him to fucking North Dakota. Like,
Yeah, that Spider-Man does it. That would be a boring Spider-Man. Yeah, but I mean I would agree. I love the game. What's
No,
funny is
it's
like
good.
when you compare it to God of War, which is a completely different game, but in terms of like fun, it's on the same level. It's just so hard to kind of compare them, like what you would think is better. It almost does each of the games a disservice. But that was a tough decision between us. Was which one we liked
I
more? And
loved
I still don't know.
both. I loved both, and it's hard for me to say which one I'd be more excited for: the new Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2 or God of War 2. Only because Norse mythology, I had been saying it since
For me,
God of War ended, like the original run ended. I was like, if they ever make another one, I gotta see it in Norse mythology. So when they brought it back and they're like, hey, we're doing Norse mythology, I mean, I popped off hard.
Yeah.
I think it would be a new God of War entirely,
too.
just because it is going back to my whole shtick on this show at this point. It is something new. As fun as Spider-Man is, it's Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Like we've already established, this works in a large city. That's it. So there's not going to be some new groundbreaking place because it logically doesn't fit. You know what I mean? It's going to be awesome. It's going to be gameplay wise. I'm probably more excited for Spider-Man.
See,
as a
I'm the
complete
opposite.
package,
I'm actually opposite on that.
I'm probably more leaning God of War.
For God of War, I want to see where they take the
combat
gameplay.
systems. I like both combat systems, but God of War, like that was the thing. Spider-Man was easy. God of War, you want to do this Valkyrie challenges? I still haven't finished those. They're damn hard.
And I also just think like Cory Barlog, just the writing of it is it's on a different level of Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's a superhero, like, you know, that trope is so played out. But the God of War story, I'm just so much more invested in. I think it's done better. So I think I'm more excited for that game. But if those two come out at the same time.
Was Sekiro the same year as those two?
I think so, yeah. I think
God,
so.
that year was good.
Yeah,
for
that year was
PlayStation.
bonkers, dude. There was other games too, remember? It was crazy.
Because Jerry,
don't you want to go back to
it?
No, I haven't. But
Play that.
Don't you want to go back to a time only 3 years ago where we had like 6 new awesome games instead of fucking remakes? It was great, wasn't it?
Play
It's pretty
Sekiro
fucking
though.
good.
Sekiro is also like a contend. Like it's
and it's like what is the best? What would I prefer?
I mean, Ghost of
between
Tsushima
Sekiro,
comes out in like 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, between Sekiro, God of War, and Spider-Man, like that's nuts, man. It's nuts because those are all so fucking good.
Those are all like system sellers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's where it's a little bit harder.
Except Sekiro's on PC, but still.
Like that I guess was what I was saying though.
Sekiro came out the year after God of War.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Like Spider-Man is really good. I'm having a ton of fun of it, but that's what I was saying is where it makes no difference to me that I bought this, or I've owned it for over 2 years before I even opened the goddamn game. Like it's a lot of fun, but I'm not beating myself up over that fact. Right. So I don't know if I would label it as like I have to buy a new console to play this.
Did you get that for free?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he got
it. So that's the thing I was gonna say. You like, Devin, if you were gonna wait, you could get that for cheap now, probably.
Yeah. No, yeah. I got it for free. Like,
if God of War 2 comes out on launch one of those games with the PS5, I'm gonna get the PS5 on launch for God of War. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Spider-Man 2 would.
Well, there's rumors that
it would be different. It would be different for that of like, okay, if Horizon Zero Dawn 2 was definitely coming on launch,
right? I would,
and then like you had like a God of War, hell yeah, I'm going out to buy that, and Spider-Man, like sure. Yeah. But if it's just like, oh yeah, you get a new DLC-ish
like a
Spider-Man, I don't give a shit, dude.
A year into PlayStation 5's release, like after a year, and like those games are starting to probably come. That's when like, yeah, that'll be the time to really buy.
Yeah.
But there's rumors that they were waiting for Xbox to announce their upcoming thing, I think at the end of July, where they're going to be unveiling a bunch of games to save a lot of their reveals and dates for an August state of play. That's what I've been hearing.
Well, we'll see.
Makes sense. I mean, they're going to be going. It's really going to be interesting to watch how Microsoft and Sony go at it.
Well, if you follow a lot of the weird dev channels too, apparently we've already seen the Xbox One XS, however you want to, whatever it's going to be called.
I'm just calling it the sex box.
Yeah, dude. The cheaper, more scaled down version
Series
of it.
X or whatever.
Yeah, like the Series S or version of what will be the new console, because basically for what they've been giving devs, there's also a second mode in it that is basically what the specs of it are going to be, of like, hey, here's where we're targeting 1080, and this is about like, so it's going to undervolt the CPU to be this, and it's going to limit the GPU to be this, and that's kind of what it's going to be. So we're just getting a lot about what Microsoft's going to be doing at least.
Yeah. All right. I've
they're not
just
gonna
been
have games for
playing Harvest, Path of Exile Harvest. I've gotten to the maps, the new league. Been just digging into it. Been drowning hours into it. I've been having a blast. Again, last time I played, I was introduced to so many different things since before that, and then I come in again, and there's already so much more that I haven't even seen. And now I'm pretty much like seen everything. I'm in endgame and all that stuff, and I'm probably gonna start another character now. It's just there's so much complexity. There's so much stuff to do in that game, and it's free. So check it out if you're interested in action RPGs. The new Path of Exile Harvest. They just tweak some things, so the Harvest
I'll have
crafting
to
system
do
is
that,
way better.
honestly.
It's
I
fun.
haven't started yet.
It's fun. They basically created like a real farming mechanic. It's like farming exile stuff.
I'll check it out. Because I
Yeah.
mean, shit, if you actually finally made it to maps in a season, I gotta at least try it.
Yeah, I've been digging it. There's also
I'm happy. You're making a second character. You're getting in. You
Oh,
understand it. This is what it's about.
I've been playing nonstop,
Hell yeah.
and this is finally like a really good character because I try not to do any build guys. I try to just go off the thing, and there's so much that you have to account for in this game to get to like end level. And I started getting into like the delves more. I started getting into the delirium system more. I started getting into all this stuff. There's just I'm in the syndicate trying to figure out what the fuck the syndicate is. And there's all these
Okay.
fucking wires and shit hanging out. I'm trying to like I still don't really understand that mechanic, but I've just been drowning hours
The
into it.
OG Syndicate fights were tuned so fucking terribly.
Oh really?
I will say though. Oh, dude, no, there were a couple of them that were just straight one shot machines. Like,
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
matter how your character was, you would just get one shot like fucking instantly.
Yeah, I've
Like
been
you could be like a super tanky, like you could have you could go like Juggernaut or something like that, and you could have like 30,000 armor. You're still getting one shot.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's kind of what I've moved past. I finally gotten past all like that stuff, and now I might be starting a second character just because
dude,
I got so much
I have,
fucking
no,
cash
I'm
now.
gonna dig into it then. Is there are you doing new skills, or is there any new skills? I'm assuming there are.
There's a new war cries, I believe. I think that's the new skills because I don't remember what the skills were last time.
Well, what kind of character are you
I have
based around
a
currently?
blood lacerman build, lacerate style build.
Blast right? Okay,
Yeah,
go
which
melee.
basically
There
just
you go.
fucking
There you
rips
go.
people apart. And I have it where they basically explode when I kill them, so I could just
Yeah.
I'm just hopping through on leap slam and just
Using
mobbing everyone.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
That was one of the first builds that I had a ton of fun with. Something similar to that. It was a duelist on the bottom where the
Yes.
ascendancy where you create create explosions if they're a bleeding enemy.
Yeah,
And then you used to be able to, I mean, it's still there, but it's probably easier or harder to get. I don't know how meta it is at the moment, but there's a unique axe that also instantly causes bleeding
yeah,
and used to amplify it. And you could just run around with that with lacerate or sunder or shit like that. Dude, it's
Yeah.
fun.
yeah. It's so fucking fun, man. And I might try starting like an actual like expensive build now because I basically use this build to just gather a shitload of money.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Is you start the league, you make your starter build. It's a cheap build
Yeah,
where you can just go ham with. You don't need currency, and then you get to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Which when you lose, it's painful.
yeah. Yeah, I bet check it out. It's pretty fun. The way that it is basically you collect seeds throughout, and then you have to harvest these seeds. You have to set up like sprinkler systems, and some seeds can only sit next to other seeds of the same color, and then you have to use another sprinkler system to feed them, and then you just basically grow these big monsters. They bloom into these monsters that you kill for either another loot drops or crafting mechanics. A lot of good stuff
Hell
is
yeah.
like you can remove a mod and replace it with a better mod, and I don't know if you can craft 6 links with seeds. I'm pretty sure you can. I just don't know how difficult that is. But
I would
it's super fun.
assume hopefully difficult because there's other methods that do that, but they're still, you don't want 6 links to just be too easy. I
Right.
guess
No,
you know what I
I've
mean. It's
only
too
seen a
undervalued.
couple on like the Reddit, but I don't even know if they're crafting them through that system or if they're utilizing it certain ways. But I know you can craft 5 links pretty easy, which is nice. It's just those 6 links are tough.
That's nice.
Check it out though. It's super fun.
And then hopefully they'll all be in PoE too.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, which I'm still excited
That's
for.
that's what they're saying, right? Basically, everything that's in this game is just going to be in the second game, and then whatever the new second game mechanics are. So like the new way they do the
Yeah.
skill gems.
Okay, the way to better think about it is it's not so much a new second game. It's more like a new game in the way of Overwatch 2 is a new
Right,
game.
right.
Where like it's just an expansion update big enough that it's like, yeah, this is worth calling it a new game
Yeah.
because that's how much we're adding.
Yeah, and it is like a new graphical overhaul, which is nice too, because the game still looks good. Like it still chugs when you're running mobs, right? So I can only imagine what it's gonna be when
I
the
will
next
just
one
add,
comes
if you
out.
do guys ever do want to play that game, never play it on Wi-Fi.
Oh no. You might as well
Like
just fucking
Never play it on
stab
Wi-Fi.
yourself in the eye. All
The
right.
game, this game gets incredibly difficult, and it, like we were talking about netcode earlier. If you have just the smallest fuck up of a frame of lag, you can
Yeah.
just instantly rip.
It's impressive how stable it is, because like you'll get into some areas where you're just like, how is this even running? Like, how is this running in all frames? But yeah, check it out. The new league's pretty fun. All right, let's get into news. News. Should we start with Smash Bros? Smash Bros. This is crazy, Doobie. Me and Doobie are huge Smash Bros fans. Since Ultimate came out, I've been headfirst into Smash Bros. It's the game that I have the most hours in. I may have 1,000 hours in it. I'm not sure. And then I started to get into like the competitive scene of Smash Bros. Not me personally, but like watching Smash Bros. Learning from people like Nairo, learning from people like Mewtwo King, learning from people like Armada. So I'm sort of relatively new to all this. Well, it looks like that's not going to last much longer, because a swath of allegations has come out against the Smash Bros. Community, essentially destroying and uprooting the entire Smash Bros. Fighting game community.
Like it's one thing. It would be one thing if it was just a few players. No, it is top to bottom. It is your biggest commentators. It is your biggest TOs. People who organize these tournaments, who are creating safe spaces, are in fact themselves abusers. It is coming from some of the top content creators. Zero, D1. Like this is top to bottom. A nightmare.
So look at this list. So I'm gonna start scrolling this list, much bigger than the list we saw last time.
It's over 80 people long.
It is so many people. These are all allegations, and these are all receipts.
It's most. I mean, Smash is getting the one hit the hardest, and as much as the FGC will joke that Smash isn't part of the FGC, Smash isn't a fighting game, they're intertwined, and we've seen it with Mr. Wizard, the CEO of Evo, who had to step down because of allegations.
Yeah,
It's going to set the scene, Smash Brothers scene, and the fighting game community. It's going to set them back a huge amount, but hopefully whatever comes after this is better, because this is needed. You got to weed out these people.
I think this is great for Smash. It seems as if there was so much toxicity and so much sexual frustration going on in this community that it's been it seems like it's plagued it. Because when something like this happens, this happens when a cult goes down. When a cult is taken down, you have swaths of people coming out saying, from top to bottom, every aspect, everywhere you turn, you were afraid of coming out because everyone was connected to everyone, and you're just stuck in this web of toxicity.
Especially when you realize just how high this goes with TOs and with top content creators, top personalities, top commentators. Like, these are people that are supposed to be the pillars of your community.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be the people you look up to. These are supposed to be the people who are setting the examples of what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
And it's completely perverted.
Yeah. Now, I will say it's not everyone. It's not everyone.
No, it's not everyone.
But it is a large group, and a lot
It's
of them
a
are
large
big.
group. Yeah, and it's a lot of the stories coming out are just disgusting behavior.
Yeah. And most of it, I think, stems from this sort of it stems from this community that's built upon, you have these kind of weird nerdy dudes who are they're finally getting some attention, they're good at something, and they're mingling in a community that's filled of all ages. And you're seeing these ages from people that are underage minors, whether
it's
they're 14,
a
15.
hotbed. It's a hotbed for grooming. It's a hotbed for power abuse.
Yeah.
And then especially when you get into the ideas of parasocial relationships, where a lot of people look up to their favorite creators. They look up to Zero. They look up to Nairo. And then these people come out, like these allegations come out, and they either, first of all, if you get alleged and you delete your Twitter immediately, you're kind of just saying you're guilty. No matter what you say afterwards, there's no really defending it. You kind of just admitted your own guilt.
I wouldn't go that far. I personally wouldn't go that far, but it's not a good
court of public opinion.
Yeah, it's not.
And then you have a lot of these people that are coming out who don't separate their fandom from, like, they have a hard time separating their fandom from, I don't know how to put it, like, from realistically being objective to viewing what's happening. They're like, oh, I watch Zero 10 hours a day. I watch Nairo 10 hours a day. I can vouch he's a great guy. You watch that person. You don't know that person.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting here defending them for what reason?
Yeah.
It's the parasocial relationships is really the whole dynamic is extremely weird and gross to look at.
That happens in it. That happens in everything too.
Oh, it happens in just celebrity in general.
It's unfortunate.
Hi,
What's up? It's unfortunate just how prevalent this was. I mean, it seemed like everyone was getting allegations, and then some things started to become cleared up. The one about Mewtwo King, which we'll talk about next, was probably one of the most gut-wrenching things I've ever seen.
What was the real start of this? Was it the Senpai Puda thing? That was like the kick started all of this.
Yes.
And I feel so bad for some of these people.
Puda basically said too, he's like, I wish I never even got into this shit.
Senpai essentially just completely bailed from online media. Has not tweeted, has not streamed. And then these people are taking upon themselves to go after somebody named Cinnamon Rolls, who's not even Senpai, and are just harassing and abusing them, despite being the fact that it's not the person.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That kicked it all off. And then what happened was, and then I think I saw that then the Nairo story came out, where Nairo is essentially it's
Captain Zack, who don't get me wrong,
at the time.
Totally awful what Nairo did. Captain Zack, it was in the past with the whole Ally situation, Ally and Captain Zack. Captain Zack, while correct in bringing this stuff up, is also a known manipulator.
Sure.
There's stories of Captain Zack going after DeBuzz, and DeBuzz being approached by Captain Zack with these things, of course the age difference, and DeBuzz was like, no. Yeah. And shut that shit down immediately on his end. Thank God. DeBuzz might be one of the only people, I'm hoping nothing comes out against DeBuzz, but DeBuzz might be a person in the community we might look forward to, look towards. But I think the word leader needs to pretty much be eliminated. There are no leaders. There needs to be a different term for these people. But when they rebuild this community, there's going to need to be a lot of healthy criticism and a lot of skepticism when building up whatever the people who are going to be the heads of this new scene are going to be.
And I'm curious to know how much the game stuff, or not the game, but the progression of how, because some of these guys are so good, and I'm curious to know if that suffers in the sense of they have to go now, we have to replace them with someone. Does the progression of it suffer because of the action that they did? I'm curious to see. Or
there's always fresh blood. There's always new players. Even Melee, a game that is 15 years old, has people coming into the scene. You look at Zane. This is a relatively newer player, not hasn't been playing as long as Hungrybox has.
There's no
but has
allegations
reached the level
Leia.
of where they can compete against a Hungrybox.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who can compete. There's going to be, Yeah, you might not see the next Nairo, the next Zero, have Zero like won everything in Smash 4. Are we losing good players? Yeah, we're losing good players, but we're getting rid of shitty people.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing is the game doesn't matter. We need to get rid of shitty people.
Yeah, there was an interesting
Please,
thing.
please do, because you can go back through this show's history. I've said it for probably 2.5 years straight. Fighting game community kind of trash.
Yeah, it's very, very
Yeah.
weird. Very.
It was
very
already going to
weird.
be a different community post-COVID. Like pre-COVID, FGC is dead.
Yeah.
But now we've got post-COVID and post-allegation. I mean, it was only a matter of time till the Me Too movement hit the gaming scene.
Yeah.
It took a lot longer than I thought it would, but it's definitely like yes, it's unfortunate and it sucks that these things happen. It really hurts to see people like to read their stories and to read the abuse that they had to endure. But if we want a better community, this is what has to happen.
Yeah. So one of the fascinating things was the Zero allegations, where Zero. So essentially, there was allegations sent at Zero, and then Zero made a statement on something, basically saying like it's good to see this community getting absolved of everyone. And then an allegation was thrown his way, and then he retorted, and then another allegation came his way, and then he basically confessed to everything, and then was dropped from his team. So
his Facebook contract got cut.
Definitely a masterclass out how not to deal with that type of shit. You know, definitely if something's going on, you want to be forthful with it.
Yeah, and that led into the whole
Do you think Nairo is done? Do you think Nairo is never coming back?
He's done. He's done.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. And then this is another whole issue. This is a big problem with the community is like.
And here's something where it says like he was trying to pay someone off.
Yeah, these predators come into the community, they commit their atrocities, and then they bail. They don't see jail time. They just leave that community and go somewhere else where they're not known and probably continue to commit their abuse. Where's the jail time? Where are these like unless there's actual consequences besides you're no longer part of this community, it's just gonna happen. They need to be hardcore. Like Senpai should fucking go to jail. Simple as that. Like there
needs to be someone needs to press. Jail. They have to press charges. They have to go to the police and press charges. It can't be this. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to pursue these charges anyway. Like the way that, unfortunately, the justice system works, it's very difficult to pursue this stuff.
It's rough.
But if it happens, you have to, you do have to take responsibility and go to the authorities as soon as possible. The sooner, the better, and try to, get some justice.
The statute of limitations. There's
but not just that, just involved with the allotted time, the added time between the event happening or the abuse happening and then the time you go. If there's more time in between, that's just so much more history for you to change your story in any way, for you to make faults in any way that other side's going to use to discredit you and not seek justice. The shorter amount of time is from the event. The better chance you have at making sure that exactly what happened is told in the exact way, that they can't cross-reference or cross-examine anything, and make sure that you are made out to be some evil person on social media. That's why it's so much beneficial to go as soon as possible, because that's just how, unfortunately, the justice system works. It's not a perfect system. You're not always going to get justice for this stuff. So point to be made. Just try to go as soon as possible.
There needs to be something more consequential than a simple, well, you're out of the community. Whatever next community you jump into and you abuse again, that's their problem.
Well, luckily now it's all online.
One thing to do is push it down the line.
Luckily now it's all online, right?
It needs to definitely be extremely well documented.
Yeah.
Even if it's within the self-regulation of the community, if those people go to another community and start acting like they're fine, you got to warn that community of their toxic members.
Yeah. So one of the craziest stories, we were talking about this before, was Mewtwo King. So there was allegations thrown his way. Do you remember the allegations? I didn't see them. I just saw the response.
The allegations were that he apparently, for lack of a better words, Evangelioned it and jacked off on somebody.
Interesting.
Which he
and there was
goes on to explain why he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
which is I feel so goddamn bad for that guy.
And I had like, an entire chapter on depression in my book. I mean, I don't. I had like an entire chapter on depression in my book talking about this. As I said, I was like 70% sure I was going to actually remove that from my book because I was never ready to reveal this for the rest of my life because I don't want to go through life getting made fun of. One of the reasons I barely even streamed in the past, like 2014, 15, etc. One of the reasons I barely even streamed in the past was because I would get made fun of. Someone found out about this, and because like I would tell someone who didn't tell other people, and someone found out about this, and I got made fun of on Twitch, which is why I barely streamed during like those years because I was like, okay, I don't like this experience because it's making me think and relive memories that I don't want to relive. I've even had nightmares about this stuff, and this is
So, and then he goes on, if you want to watch it, it's really gut-wrenching. I don't recommend watching it. It's really sad. But essentially, he had to come forth and expose himself to the internet. He had this botched circumcision that basically rendered him useless down there. He basically can't. I don't know the exact situation. He doesn't really go into much detail, but he says like nothing's gonna happen. There's no way any of this would ever happen. It's extremely painful for him, and it's a very sad situation that he wanted to. I'm assuming he was thinking about coming clean about this through his book, which is on his own terms, told in a way that allows him to control the narrative. And now instead he has to come through with this shaky sort of voice on this, thrown together live stream. And it just sucks. And then he gets into his thoughts on religion and about how he's been dealing with like insane depression for the longest time because of this situation. And the only reason he hasn't killed himself, he hasn't committed suicide, is because the only thing keeping him happy is eternal salvation in heaven, and that's the only thing that he has. So to jeopardize that by committing suicide is just not in the books for him. It's so fucking insane that this stuff has come out and that he's had to come out and do this. I think he's extremely brave and extremely strong for sharing this, because he could have just been like, look, there's no way this could have possibly happened. I don't have to tell you why. Read about it in my book, and that's it, and then go dark for a little while. But like you said, then people start to question, well, why is he not talking about this or addressing the situation? That's probably what I would have done. But instead, he came and was extremely forth.
The good old current political strategy of not reporting it at the time, but I'll write a book about it, so you have to buy it and find out the actual story.
Yes, yeah. The modern report. So that's the Mewtwo King. There was some rumors going on, and he's been absolved of that, and he kind of addresses some of the stuff that he was engaging in at the time and the toxicity that was going on, and how he's been dealing with this. So he's kind of been I don't know, I guess picked on. Some people knew, and they were picking on him, and very, very sad. And then finally, on top of all this, the central theme of a lot of the abuse that was going on was with this guy, Sky Williams, who I didn't know was part of this Smash community. I've seen him a few times online, but I didn't know he was like a Smash guy. And he supposedly had like 4 or 5 different houses that housed all these gamers and content creators and Smash players. And this is where all of these abuse allegations were taking place. And this is where a lot of the
read some
stuff
of the
is going
stories on. Or like
I just
and
read
he did a
couple
live
of
stream last night. That
I watched
was
the live stream.
Bad. Oh my god, it was awful.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I don't even like his house sounds like the thing of nightmares.
I know.
I've always joked about like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to have a mansion
house of
for you and your
horrors.
gaming friends to be in? And I realized, oh, this might actually be a bad idea once seeing this in action. Holy shit.
It sounds terrible.
If you don't give me $350, I'm gonna go into every one of your rooms and break your shit.
See, yeah, I mean, whatever.
What?
Whatever. That's some
You're a
childish.
psychopath.
That's some child.
You're a psychopath.
I don't think he's a psycho for that. I think he's just fucking childish.
I just think
he's
he's a psychopath in general.
I think he's just a childish idiot. But the thing that's
It's-
criminal is that he was allowing minors to come there, sleep there, engage in these parties with people that were 20, 30 years old. No. Go to a party tomorrow. There's going to be no 15-year-olds at this party. I guarantee you. That's weirdo, creepy weirdo shit.
I
How
don't think
did
they're throwing
no
any
one
parties
allow?
anytime soon.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know how no one came out and said this is not okay. You can't have these people. This you could just tell, like when someone comes and they're underage, you could just tell.
I
like
tell you how, influencer.
I get. I mean,
That's
I guess. I guess.
Fear of
That's still-
repercussion from the community.
True, and that's its own thing we could get into later too. On the not a flip side of this, I guess that's a wrong take, but we can go into the other stuff too with death threats and things like that to the point of people actually committing suicide.
Yeah.
But no, like that's I agree with Wayne where that's so fucked up. Like, dude, I'm fucking almost 30 at this point. If you cannot drink, I do not want to talk to you.
Yeah, I don't even want to.
I don't want you at my party. I don't want to deal with minors going to shit like that. No, none of that. No, like I just want
What
to sit there.
insightful
I wanna be able
conversation
to
are you
sit
gonna
here
have
and-
with a minor?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and even like, and there's some smart people out there. Sure, like you could have that, but that's a different situation. I want to go and
Have that
sit.
conversation when you're 21.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I want to sit at a party with a hand of whiskey in my glass, like a glass of whiskey in my hand, and just be like, "This is nice. I don't have to worry about things for once, especially in today's era.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry.
I mean,
I just want to relax."
the whole idea of alcohol, like, and this is a discussion in a lot of not just Smash, not just fighting games, but any gaming convention or any gathering of people in a hotel for a gaming event, is how do you police like the alcohol situation? There's
No,
so
that's what,
many
like,
young
adds
You
to
don't
that
people-
other
allow minors
fucked up
at
layer
all.
there. Exactly. Like you run it.
Well,
You
that's the
run it like
thing.
a club. If I even tried doing that when I was like 23, dude. Like I
Right,
wanna run
right.
it like
And
a
let me-
club.
Yeah, let me say, like, we've all went to parties with people that were older than us, and we lied
Yes.
about our age. Like, that is definitely
Oh,
a thing.
100%.
But that is not a fault of the minor, because that's just how that works, right? If you're a minor, you're gonna engage in risky behaviors and mischief. It's up to the adults to make sure that you don't get in there. You know how many parties I went to and I had to show them the
And I would
door
al-
because
would
I was
also
underage?
say- agree with that to an extent where there is like a little difference there of like, all right, you're in college, you're a 22-year-old, but you're made friends with someone on your sports team who's like 20.
Yeah.
Like that is a much different situation too still than like, yeah, I'm fucking 30 here, dude, and I'm gonna fight a bunch of 16-year-olds. Like what the
Yeah,
fuck is
it's
that?
so to me that's just unthinkable. Even like 20, like past, basically once you're out of college, you're anywhere that age where you're out of college.
I don't even want to deal with college kids anymore, dude.
Exactly, exactly.
I turned
I
30 at the
know.
end of the month. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go on a dating
Imagine.
website. Minimum age is 26. Now.
yeah, that's exactly that's what I'm saying.
Like I don't. If you're under 26, you have nothing. You have nothing.
And I'm gonna be fair and say like, okay, you're in LA or you're in California. There's a lot of that going on. It's difficult. But if you own a house and you're letting these people stay there and you're charging them, and you have minors living there and partying and sleeping with people that are 4 or 5 times their senior, that's criminal, dude. You have to be. I think if anyone should be charged with anything, there's a case you made for Sky Williams for harboring this stuff. You can't just say negligence. You can't just be like, I didn't know. I was a bad tenant or a landlord. I didn't know. That does not fly. You know what I mean? Like imagine one of these minors ended up dying for whatever the case may be, right? Saying I didn't know they were underage and were drinking, that's not going to fly in the court. You have to know. That's your job to know. Your job is to know who is staying at your house. That's just completely unacceptable. I don't care how much they lie. You know, you have to get the court documents. You have to get their IDs, get their passports, whatever you got to do. See, this is like a situation where they're just giving him, like, cash apping him $350 to sleep on his floor. That's just insane to me. You know, that's the situation that he was running. And supposedly his houses were nice. Like he had this like big house called the Mansion or something that was like 4 different stories. He had 4 other houses all across California. This was a big operation of debauchery. No more. It's done with. This stuff has got to go. And I wonder with these like TikTok houses, like what the fuck is going on in California? You know what I mean? What is going on over there? Enough with these underage youngins. All right. Do we have any other stories coming from the Smash scene? I think that's it, right? And then we have Evo 2020 being canceled.
Yeah, Evo, because Mr. Wizard apparently is a horrible creep.
Well, what's the story? I don't know the story.
God, was he also pedophilia?
Oh God, here we go.
I just know there was sexual allegations. I can't remember if there was.
Oh, we didn't talk about Dr. Disrespect either.
I don't even know what we talk about there.
I don't know.
Banned from Twitch, and we don't know why.
We'll speculate. Speculation's always fun.
Well, no, don't speculate, because that's the other person we still haven't talked about either is Wreckful, which yeah, it's probably a good reason to not speculate.
Kueller is accused. Joey Kueller, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but Mr. Wizard was accused of paying a 17-year-old boy $20 in 2001 to see his penis, and frequently giving tokens to teenage boys to jump in a pool with just their underwear on.
Wow.
That was
And once that came out,
No.
once that came out, he was removed
a beautiful
as the CEO of Evo, and then all of the companies started pulling their support. Capcom pulled their
that's
support.
odd.
Bandai Namco pulled their support. Company after
I'm
company just
assuming
said, "Yeah,
there's
we're not going to
proof.
do Evo."
I'm assuming there's proof, right?
I imagine so if they removed him and all this other stuff, but it's.
Because
I
would imagine there.
don't want to dive too deep into that.
Yeah. No, me.
Yeah,
either.
NetherRealms pulled Mortal Kombat.
So that's done.
Yeah.
That's done with. Well, they just removed him as CEO. Do we know going forward Tony Cannon will act as CEO? Okay, well there you go. All right. There is no Evo 2020 though, so maybe next
Yeah,
year.
EVO 2020, which was going to be all online, is now fully canceled.
It's been a mess anyway.
Who knows about the future for it?
Dude, I said it
And
2
a
years
lot of
ago.
players said they wouldn't.
Fighting
they
game
wouldn't-
community is trash.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Because like the
Just
way
the
they
game-
have
just-
also
dude, just
a lot of them
gaming
have
community.
acted over time over Twitter and stuff has always just rubbed me towards that way. I
It's
guess
a
if
shame.
that makes sense.
Some of these guys are so talented.
Like NuckleDew had to drop out of. He didn't drop out for any sexual reasons. He got into a car accident and just had a kid, and he realized that life is short, and he's just not gonna compete anymore.
Yeah.
But it happened like literally the same exact time as all this shit happened. And NuckleDew's a former Street Fighter V champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily he didn't luckily he didn't die. He survived the car crash. He's gonna recover. But when that happens and you just had a kid, your kid was just born, I can understand why you would bail out of the community like that and just focus on real life.
Yeah. Tasco says, "What people do with freedom is so stupid." I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. People do stupid shit with their freedoms. That is true, but they are free to do it. All right. For the most part. Hey, Streamlabs got back to me. Hey, Wayne, what issues were you having with CloudBot exactly? Yes, there are 2 loyalty programs, but one is for the desktop chatbot and the other is for CloudBot. The CloudBot is not configured to work with the loyalty extension. Only the chatbot is. Okay, thank you, Streamlabs, for not really answering my question, I guess. All right, moving on. Hopefully we hear the end of these gaming sexual abuse allegations. I highly doubt it, but it's been a wild
Dude,
ride.
it's every day. There's a handful of new ones.
There's been
I
so
saw one
much.
today I saw one today in the speedrunning community that
Oh god.
was one of the hardest reads.
Oh really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's try to move forward from there. If anything crazy pops up, we'll keep an eye on it. In terms of Dr. Disrespect, I did want to touch on it a bit. I find it insane that Twitch hasn't come out and said why they removed him from the platform.
I don't
Considering how
think it's
massive it
insane.
is. I do.
I think there's legal reasons why they haven't.
I don't see what
It has
legal
to be
reasons
legal.
what
It
it would
has to
be.
be some kind of legal reason.
I don't see what legal reasons would that be. Unless there's some sort
I
of
have
like
no
private
idea.
deal. You know.
A lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of speculation that he was going to breach his contract. There was speculations about this and that.
Yeah, but that they wouldn't hide
But nobody.
that.
But the fact that nobody's leaked it means it's got to be tight-lipped to hell.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm
Because
wondering.
it's not like they just sat there and went, "Yeah, we're gonna remove Doctor Disrespect, no reason, just do it." There had to be some reason, and the fact they haven't said anything means it's got to be something that's going to be held. Like, it's going to be handled in the court of law.
I mean, I just find it really, really insane that neither side has come out and
I
stated
would agree
what
with
they
that
think.
because if there isn't that reasoning to that gravity, so to say, well then how was the contract written? Because also Twitch definitely also kind of owed this dude millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah,
So if there is no just reason, that also sounds like its own lawsuit of, hey, this contract though.
yeah. Especially since he's like, I haven't even spoken to them. Like, they haven't given me any reason as to what's going on. They showed like some huge promo that they had him leading, which must have cost millions of dollars. Like, this was like a really legit promo. And then they just pull him. Don't say anything about it. He drops. He doesn't say anything about it. I think it's insane. Insane. And then again, we see people that are reporting on it that know what the story is that won't report on it because they don't know if they have all the
So, yeah,
information.
there's two of them who will not say, which only leads to more speculation, and then the rest of the reporting is just speculation.
And the speculation is so dumb. Like the whole Spotify thing, how Spotify is gonna break off. First of all, like
Well, no, it's going every which way. There's the speculation of that. There's the speculation of going back to his cheating scandal that was actually way worse than anyone actually thought. They're
yeah.
It's speculation on every single last thing, which is bad in its own way, I guess would be a good way to put it.
It only makes things worse in my opinion. Especially if you don't like imagine if you were to come out and say, I think it might be this, right? Then it would completely squash any of the speculation that is just so far-fetched, that is just, completely damaging, because there's going to be people that, whatever, they're not going to listen one way or the other. So just, I don't know. I think it's crazy how tight-lipped they are about it. And I wonder if we're ever going to hear about it.
I feel like you would eventually, just because eventually someone's going to spill the beans.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't personally, I don't want to go really far into like any of the speculation, because on the flip side of also Twitch things that happened this week, like, well, Reckful also committed suicide, basically because of Twitter harassment.
Yeah.
So like getting into that side of it, it's also its own fucked up thing of like, if you don't know, you just don't know, and it's okay to say I don't know.
Yeah.
So all I'll say is mental health is important. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah. Definitely take care of yourself. See some people if you need to.
And I mean, but
don't be online all the
there's
time.
Things. Yeah, that's the hard part. Is stay off of line, I guess, because that like Reckful definitely was getting help for a long time. You know what I mean? Because if you go into that story, that's just sadder and sadder and sadder.
Yeah, I was reading some of it, and then I saw like his last tweets, and then it seemed like someone spiraling.
Yes, because so he was well-known manic depressive. His brother committed suicide as well. And so yeah, he had been getting help for years, and I thought he was doing better. And like he is a very important. He's not, probably wasn't super huge on Twitch anymore, and he was totally from like the WoW era, which was my era. So I really like the dude. You know what I mean? But he's also super like he's the one who made donations on Twitch a thing. He was the one who actually made donations on Twitch happen. Before him donating to Streamlabs or PayPal or whatever, that was not something that anyone did.
Wow.
It is important.
Yeah, he's a pioneer, or was a pioneer. Yeah, sad. Anytime that happens, man, it's just so sad. And there's just been so much. It's just been story after story. What are you gonna do? All right, well, we got another story. Last of Us 2 team is getting death threats sent to them. This is from Neil Druckmann. Here are a collection of tweets that he posted on his Twitter. I'm not going to read them. They're really bad.
It's not, and that's the thing is, it's not just the devs, dude. It's also the voice actors who, by the
Voice
way,
actors, yep.
voice actors are not their characters. They're
No.
simply doing a job.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think it's definitely like if I were a voice actor, this is kind of how I'm justifying it. If I were a voice actor, I wouldn't take that criticism as seriously as I would a dev, because as a dev, it feels like this is something that you created. A voice actor, sure, you're acting as the person, but people hate all types of villainous actors just because of their roles. But it's just so easy to divorce yourself from that role. Whereas in terms of the creation, it's pretty rough and it's bad. I mean, they're getting it.
It's also
all
a little
over the place.
It's a little harder too. So this is the way I think about it too. Is like, okay, so my entire life is the internet, basically. Like that is my career. That is my job. I work as a programmer. So if you tell me a Twitter message to go kill myself, I'm going to take that as seriously as you saying it in real life, because that's the intent of my fucking career,
Sure.
basically.
Sure. Yeah.
So like it's not as like as much of a throwaway thing, because my entire job here in life work is to make it possible for
No,
you to do that.
I see.
Basically.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It really baffles me. It really baffles me that the hive minding that goes on, and the extent at which this game in particular is getting it. We're seeing it's starting to like ramp up, because it's been happening for a couple of years now. Like these things, these stories popping up. The Last of Us is definitely one of the biggest ones. And I think it's only going to get worse from here on out. It hasn't seemed like it's gotten any better. So I don't know how that's going to ever change. I don't know what they're going to have to do to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen. But it's pretty sad. It's a shame. I thought this game was truly amazing, truly a work of art, where others are going to send death threats to the developers for whatever reason. Some people think it's some sort of agenda.
It doesn't.
Whatever.
There isn't a reason. There shouldn't be a reason for like, yeah, dude, go kill yourself. Like, why is that still? It's 2020. Have we really not thought of more creative insults?
How about this
Like,
one?
how is
I
this
hope your
still, like-
parents die by a hard cancer for killing my blank blank.
Like,
I
how
will
is
find
this
you.
still
I will
just
kill
the
your
fucking
kid for
norm?
that.
Why is this still like the norm of like, yeah, I'm gonna be angry and this is how I'm gonna react? Like that's still insane to me. I guess that
It is, and
we made it to 2020 and this is still just considered normal internet usage.
I know, and it's insane that these platforms haven't figured out a way to limit it at all. Like it's still like extremely easy to do this. You know what I mean? Like it's not limited in any way. And I think most of it ties to anonymity, and I think there's a real debate about anonymity in social media. But that's we're still years and years away from any sort of real resolution on that. Crazy. Neil Druckmann, if you're watching, I love you. So you got one person that loves you. All right. Here's another debate that we're going to have. Is the $70 game inevitable?
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't happen 10 years ago.
NBA 21 is the Kobe Bryant edition, is the first PS5 game set at $70. There's a lot of debate going on. There was another, let me see if it's in this article. There was an article or someone came out basically saying like this model, the $60 model is unsustainable. They're going to have to increase prices. It's the reason why we've seen so much
It was the former
loot boxes.
Sony exec.
Oh, that's who it was. Yeah.
I mean, like if you account for inflation, this literally should have happened about 25 years ago. So no, I'm not surprised this is finally happening.
What do you think is too much?
So
Or
if
do you
we're
think
gonna
it
do a
should be
$70
game
model, are we
For like
gonna
a regular
see-
AAA game, $100 right now. That's too much.
Is that
but, like,
including the DLC and microtransactions or no?
No. But I'm also on the team
No.
of stop the day one DLC bullshit, but Spider-Man.
Yeah. And then where do you put the money on DLC? You make it cheaper or keep it at the same price?
You'd up it probably a little bit. You wouldn't up it a
You would up it.
ton,
You'd have
but
to up
no,
it.
you'd have to up it.
You'd
yeah.
have to up it.
Like I don't know. This is something that it upping it to $70 isn't that crazy to me. Like, yes, it does suck for my wallet, obviously. But like the flip side is like I mean, if you did go for inflation, I'm pretty sure games should be like $120 for right now versus what they were, for the PlayStation 1.
Cartesia says
they've never
70 to
changed.
90 is normal in Switzerland.
Yeah, and in Canada, I know it's also a lot pricier as well.
Yeah, I don't mind. What I don't want to happen is they raise the price on it, and then they still keep all the microtransactions. They still
Oh,
keep
they're
all the
going
loot
to.
boxes.
They're going to.
They
They're
still-
That is
absolutely
my-
going to.
That's what's gonna
And that-
happen. You know
That's
what I
my
mean?
problem. That's why I've argued that no, that's bullshit, and from day one, especially like I'm fine with DLC. Like DLC is actually a good idea, as long as it's stuff you've made after the game's released. My problem is the day one DLCs, shit like that, where it's like,
Yeah, I wonder if that'll go away. If that stuff will go away.
When
if
they
can
sell you on
try-
that season pass.
So what now? If I would spend $80 on a game, I think 80 is the maximum on a game, and it includes like a pack of DLC and whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's included in the game where they don't have to sell me a DLC, where it's already they just add it on and bump up the price $20. I think over $80 is pretty tough.
I think 80 is probably that realistic sweet spot. Is once you start getting over 80, people are gonna really start.
Yeah, and I'm specifically
being okay
talking
with it.
like
And of
super
course,
big
the
triple
very-
A's.
The first game that is hitting this model of 70 is, of course, a sports title.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah, that's
Because
what
they're
I-
going to be
I
making
could
that
see people-
every year.
And
right.
of course,
that I can see pissing people
it's
off.
2K.
That is-
Of course,
right.
it's 2K. I think EA is probably in the back, like, yes, thank God they did it first. Now we can just steal
Oh, yes.
their pricing
and then
model.
start hammering you with that Madden Ultimate Team
Yes,
microtransaction
EA was like,
bullshit.
yes,
Oh,
we don't
here-
have to take the heat on this.
Here-
If
I guess
EA did
here's
this would be
the
a much
easiest-
bigger story.
Wait until they make roster
Mm.
updates at DLC you have to pay for.
I'm
Oh,
telling
that-
you, if
that would
EA
suck.
did this would be a huge story. But it's 2K.
Well, no,
It's
like-
not that big of a story.
it is. Like, it does suck that it is a sports game, because that's going to be the truth of it. But like the
Right.
flip side of that is like, okay, if the PlayStation 2 came out at $300 here, I'm looking at, if that came out this year today, it would cost $457, accounting for inflation.
Oh my God.
But hey, the games have stayed the exact same price the entire time.
Yeah.
That doesn't add up. Like, so I do get that from their sense of like, this is an unsustainable model, because it's an unsustainable model. It has been for 20 years.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, they take such a big risk. I mean, if you watch that indie documentary, we bring it up a lot, and they take a huge risk. Like those games should definitely be priced at $60, but they have to price them at indie prices because they're an indie developer. Even though the same amount of time they put in is it's not equal. It's just it has to go throughout the entire system. So we're gonna even see like smaller games, indie games up in price. It's just all gonna go up. I don't
If the
mind it too
PlayStation
much.
3 launched today, it would cost $650.
Yeah, that would make that makes sense. Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like these systems, like they don't even sell them at profit, right? They sell them at cost just to get you on the system. So, I just imagine where we're gonna be at. Now I think $80 would be the maximum. I can't imagine
See-
seeing a $100 game.
Just wait until
Anytime
Nintendo
soon.
also hops on that board, because their games never go on sale.
Oh
True.
God.
And they will be, because the biggest thing I can give like as an example of this, I guess, is PlayStation 4 launched in 2013 at $400. If it launched today with inflation adjusted, it would cost $447.
Yeah.
So just in the time of this console, it's gone up $50.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we should be paying a little bit more for. I mean, some of these
No, but
games
it does
are so incredible.
It does suck, because I'm not gonna probably spend $70 on this game, especially a sports game, unless it's hockey, because I'm dumb and I'll still buy those.
Yeah, like I'm gonna spend $70
But-
on Madden. I'll probably get the NHL one, FIFA.
But like a lot of them, that's why, Steam sales, like other, like that is that's more points in the argument of Doobie's argument of, hey, when the PlayStation 5 comes out, we should buy the one with a CD tray so I can actually afford to buy this game from Best Buy for $10 in 2 years.
yeah. All right. Moving on, Horizon Zero Dawn, top seller on Steam, following the announcement. I'm excited to see it.
Not surprised at all. I'm excited for this. I've seen a few people go back and forth on Twitter that I follow. There's some people like, oh, this game shouldn't be full price.
It's not.
But then
It's
you look at a lot of the
$50.
changes it's making. A lot of the updates to frame rates to output. Like, I'm totally fine with paying whatever they're asking for it.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
It's an incredible game, and if they sold it at $70, they wouldn't have to price this one at this price. They could price it lower.
Can I
I'm
get
telling
a
you.
RTX with it?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I can't wait to see what the modding community does with it.
True.
Yeah.
That's the biggest reason to buy the game.
Give me some
honestly.
Zoids modded in.
Ah, fuck that. I don't like. No, I'm like, you're underselling modders here. We're like, no, dude. There's gonna be people who create free DLC for this game,
Hell yeah.
Oh,
and
it's gonna be
like some
great.
of it's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be
Some
awesome.
of it's gonna be trash, but some of it's gonna be amazing.
Now, do we know what if it has any DRM on it?
Oh, I would imagine so.
Is it gonna have Denuvo? Oh,
I don't know if it
Denuvo.
would have Denuvo.
God, I hate Denuvo.
I would also add though, there's nothing really big happening on Steam other than the summer sale.
Yeah, and
So
I
there
looked through it,
isn't
it's-
like it's not competing against
No,
like
right,
a
right.
huge PC release happening anytime soon.
Yeah. Moving on.
When's it coming out? When's it come out again?
August.
Okay, because I was gonna say the only huge PC release I know of is July 14th, Halo 3.
Yeah.
Which also wouldn't be on Steam.
The
I
Master
don't
Chief
think they're
Collection.
the Master Chief Collection is, but
Yeah,
that's,
Halo 3 is
you've been
part
a-
of that.
Oh, well, who cares? You've been able to buy that for 2 years.
You haven't. They're releasing Halo 3 on PC though. On that's part of the. Remember how they did the Master Chief Collection? Was they're shadow dropping each title in it?
Yeah.
Over
They do it,
time.
Right,
like,
but what
weird
I
over
mean
time.
is half of it's not going to see like a huge increase of sale. It'll see an increase of sales, but it's not going to be everyone's buying
yeah.
Halo 3 now.
I will
because
definitely be playing.
You've been
Halo
able to
3
buy it for
next
2
week,
years
though.
now. True.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
excited.
see an increase of players, but it's not going to be like your
We'll see if it's online is good.
Oh, fingers crossed.
I'm curious to know how many more people play Horizon Zero Dawn once it's on PC. Very curious to see those numbers.
I mean, that's the thing is like how many people are going to play Horizon Zero Dawn?
I find
1?
when
And
people
when
buy
2
games-
comes out, are they going to be like, all right, well, you can either wait 5 years for this to come on PC or buy a PS5 now and get it.
See, like I find when people get games on PC, it's different. Like when GTA 5 was released on PC, that's when we really started to see that game really flourish into its own. I would say the same for a few other titles. I'm just curious to see how.
Well, it also launched with online too, which was the big thing.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because if you're going to play that game online, you're gonna play it on PC. You want to have some mod support.
Yeah.
Like most online games, they're better with
That
mod
game
support.
is so good. Every time I think about it, I can't wait for the next one. All right. Microsoft interested in purchasing Warner Brothers Interactive. All right. Well, that's okay.
That'd be interesting. I mean, they're
They're trying to just
they're
buy
definitely
studios.
thirsty for first party devs.
Yeah, they're just trying to buy studios at this point.
Yeah,
they?
they're going to compete.
Will they? We'll see. That's
I
expensive.
mean,
That's
what
expensive.
have they been cooking up though? I guess.
They got. I mean,
That
what's
we
his
know
name? Ninja Theory. Is it Ninja Theory? The guys who behind Hellblade?
Yep.
Setsuna? Yeah, they got them.
Monolith, Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Or no, these would be part of the Rocksteady, Monolith, NetherRealm, Avalanche are part of. Warner
NetherRealm
Bros.
would be the
Interactive.
big one because would they then make Mortal Kombat and Injustice Xbox exclusives, or would they just make money from putting them on all systems?
Yeah,
like they
I
do
don't
now.
know. I think Windows is in a beautiful spot at their PC Xbox market. Like, I love it. I love what they're doing with
Just
Xbox
don't
games.
stream
I-
it. Never stream it.
Why did they pull you?
I definitely think them doing the PC gaming hard is really benefits them.
yeah.
Because Sony, you see, like Sony does it, but it takes them forever to do it.
Mm-hmm. And it's got a really nice online like friend structure. Like it works really well. Square Enix announces World Ends With You animation launches 2021. Okay.
Looks pretty cool. If you've never played The World Ends With You, it was on the DS. They made a version of it for Switch and I think something else and mobile, but it didn't play as great as it did on the DS. But I'm excited. I mean, the animation looks fantastic. So if you're a big anime fan or World's End With You fan, something to look forward to.
And then Ubisoft's Forward digital event teaser trailer. It's going to be July 12th, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Hosted by Jeff Keighley.
I'm wondering.
Oh wait, it isn't.
I'm wondering if we haven't seen anything for Beyond Good and Evil 2 in a while. And with the announcements of all the next gen systems, I wonder if they're going to bring a new trailer or some information on that game as it pertains to next gen systems.
Wow, this trailer is actually beautifully compressed. I'm actually in awe at how
It's
high
also
bit
loud
rate it
as
is.
Fuck.
Holy shit, man. It looks so good.
You're gonna watch this trailer, instantly mute it because
Yeah, I did. I
good
muted
lord.
it. Yeah, I don't know. Here we go with Ubisoft. Well, good thing about Ubisoft, Watch Dogs 2 will be free this weekend. So if you're looking to get into Watch Dogs 2, you can get it free this weekend. Thanks to Ubisoft's Forward release. I guess through their Ubisoft platform, whatever that is. I don't know if they do. They might have it on Steam too. I'm not exactly sure. Because I know I got Assassin's Creed on Steam, but then it launches through the Ubisoft.
From everything
launcher.
I've heard, Watch Dogs 2 is like not a bad game.
No, it's pretty
nothing-
fun, dude.
Yeah, it's a
pretty
lot
fun.
better than the first Watch Dogs.
Oh yeah, it's pretty fun. It's Watch Dogs, so get ready for like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, like the Far Cry method. But it is fun. There's a lot of fun little mechanics, and the writing is funny, and the characters are cool. If you want something to just play, you're waiting for Ghost of Tsushima, play some Watch Dogs 2. It's free. Why not?
It's gonna also just add
I can't wait
usual
for Ghost.
Ubisoft stuff, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like, here's your
Where's Just Dance 2021
Here's your
on the Wii?
9
Get that.
Assassin's Creeds that we've trying to been selling to you for the fucking
Yeah.
last 20
The
years.
best thing about an Ubisoft Direct is that I don't have to watch a really cringy dance portion of it.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
you probably still will. Don't kid yourself.
They'll find a way.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, before you get out of here, because we know you like to leave us during our text
Yeah,
segment.
because I stream.
Oh well, maybe not stream on the day we do a podcast. You ever think of that?
Wow.
Adam Savage of Mythbusters allegedly raped sister. So much sexual abuse going on. I don't want to cover it anymore. It's the last time. This is the last day. I'm skipping all the rest of them. And then he's come out recently and said that he denies the assault allegations made by his sister. I will fight. So supposedly she came out and said this entire family is ashamed that this happened, and they're trying to push me away, and they're trying to deny my abuse from my brother, who called himself the raping blob during the late
Now,
1970s.
is this a myth that needs to get busted?
Does you need to
I'm
bust this
sorry.
myth?
I really shouldn't be cracking jokes, but it was sitting there.
Oh man, imagine he does
I mean,
that.
okay.
Imagine he does an
that
episode.
show, I didn't know that the two of them, was it Adam Savage and the
and other guy.
that they hate each other. They don't like each other at all.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're not
Oh, yeah, they
Penn
do
and
not
Teller,
like-
dude.
Yeah, they're not friends. They did the show together,
Oh.
but that was it. They did not want anything to do with each other.
Oh, I didn't know this. I'm not about. I don't know the Mythbusters lore. Wow, what happened? Was there a falling out, or did they never like each other?
I think they were partners at one point, and then like they had the show, and then the partnership fell apart, and then they just did not care for each other.
Wow,
They did the show for the show's sake, but that was it.
Wow.
interesting.
Wow.
I love the show, man. I love Mythbusters. I loved everyone on it. I love Adam Savage. Hopefully this isn't true. That would break my younger man's heart. He says it's not. He says he denies it all. Well, I hope that my sister gets help. She needs to find peace. This needs to end. For many years, she relentlessly and falsely attacked me and other members of my family to anyone who will listen. By spreading numerous untrue stories about us in pursuit of financial bonanza, she tortured our entire family and estranged herself from all of us. I will fight the groundless and offensive lawsuit, and I will work to put this to rest once and for all. And I do want to give Angry Joe credit. Last time we brought up his allegations, and he has since came out and defended himself by saying that none of the rumors were true. They're all allegations, and he will be fighting with the fullest extent of the law against the allegations. So I do want to give his side as well. And I think that was... And then Pro Syndicate has come out and basically said the same thing. All right, next, some huge news coming out of China. if you haven't heard, China has secretly put out this plan. This
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says the U.S. is
this
considering.
they put out like this control plan against Hong Kong, where they're essentially going to black out Hong Kong. They're taking control of all of its media. They're going to jail anyone who offends them, who goes against the government, anyone who does any sort of protesting, anyone who does any sort of defacing of property. That's it. They've had enough. They've come together in the secrecy of the night, and they put forth this plan, and they've already started to choke out companies. They're going after them all. They want Google, Facebook, all the social media companies to fall in line under this new plan by not recognizing Hong Kong, by not allowing them to use the platform for protesting, by just basically monitoring all Hong Kong natives to make sure that they're falling in line. And this has led the U.S. to take a look at TikTok. The United States is now looking at banning TikTok and other Chinese social media apps, which is very fascinating. What is the other one that they use? It's not WeChat. It's like Weibo or something. I forget the exact name. But it would be a very, very big deal for any Chinese Americans who might use that app. I definitely think it's probably a good time to stop using these apps on your own. You probably should be very critical of what's going on in China and making sure that you're protecting yourself from any sort of Chinese software, any sort of Chinese monitoring systems. It's tough to do, I get, because they're so prevalent in today's online media. But do your best to just keep a skeptical eye on all this stuff, because it does look like they're going to start to get into some dicey things, especially with what's going on in Hong Kong. I'm very curious to see how U.S. companies react. Go ahead.
That
Sorry.
applies to like every company, basically.
Yeah.
That isn't just TikTok. That is Facebook. That is Google. That is Apple. That is everyone who says they keep your data private that never actually has. Great
Yeah,
job.
and I will say a lot of these companies, because I talked about this earlier, there is a big push. I don't know how fast this transition is going to be, but there's a lot more at looking at India to basically do all of what China's doing, just because of the control that China has been exerting. And I guess more people are just riding India in terms of their economic prowess. They want to be able to get in there while the labor and the work and the output is still really cheap. Very fascinating to see how this responds, how Google, Facebook, Twitter respond. So far, they have denied any sort of information requests. That's what we've gotten so far. They are denying requests from China. Google basically was like, we're not going to give you anything right now. That's just how it's going to be. If they're going to start jailing Google employees that are working in these facilities, if they're going to start taking down their services in China, will they fall in line then? Is China going to go that far? This all remains to be seen. This is all developing. But this is the problem when you deal with communist countries and doing business with communist countries. I mean, this is the worst case scenario. This is what you don't want them doing. You don't want them basically shutting down everything just so you fall in line. And it's unfortunate just because, of course, the economic power that they hold, the financial power that they hold, now the intellectual and capitalistic power that they hold, the imperial power that they hold. China is not a laughing matter. They haven't been for a while, but before it was just like, okay, it's just cheap labor, everything made in China, blah, blah, blah. Let's not take them too seriously. But now, with so much of the IP theft going on, they have engineers and people smart enough to take these same technologies and just create them. They are a real threat in the modern day marketplace. So it's going to be fascinating to see where this leads. And I'm fascinated by the story, and hopefully things can be resolved in a manner where the only thing that would come out of this is if they were to recognize Hong Kong as their own essentially. And that is never going to happen. And I think it's only going to escalate from there. It's up to these big social media companies to really take the stand and move the fuck out of there. Otherwise, they're going to have to abide by these laws, or they're going to have to silence the Hong Kong people. I mean, it's one or the other. I don't know which one they're going to choose. So it's going to be fascinating. And TikTok is, I mean, they have an American CEO, but they're a Chinese company. So we'll see where that goes. All right. And then in camera news, a couple camera things here. We'll do this one next. The R5 recording options have been leaked. The R5 will be announced Thursday, or is it Friday? Friday. We're going to get all the Canon stuff here. I'm very excited to see what's going on. So here are the recording options. 8K DCI, 8K UHD, 4K DCI, 4K UHD, Full HD. We see the 8K. You can record in RAW, All-I, IPB, 24, 25, 50. It has been confirmed 4K at 120 and 8K 30 will have no crop. And there will be no recording 8K video to both cards simultaneously. I wonder if that also applies to the 4K 120. I would assume so. So there you go. It's been confirmed that we're getting a pretty beefy resolution video camera out of Canon, which is really nice. And this is the top view.
That's not that. They've already confirmed that that's what we're releasing. It's more just here it actually is on the menu. They already said you get 8K RAW. That's
I don't know if they confirmed it was 4K 120 no crop, unless I was wrong about that.
Yeah, I think they have.
Yeah.
It's more just, to me, it's cool to actually see it. There it is. It actually is there.
Yeah.
And then it's
And you do
remembering
have the
that,
two different
it's a
sizes.
512 gigabyte memory card where you get 21 minutes of record time.
Yeah. And those cards are $600. That's an
Have fun.
expensive
And you can't back
record.
up. So if it dies, fuck you, dude.
That's an expensive record. Yeah, and that's another thing. I wonder if we get the USB-C recording. That hasn't been confirmed either. We're gonna see Friday. Supposedly there's other surprises that they have coming. I'm hoping it's a C100. That's what I'm hoping. We heard murmurs of that. And then the big news: Sony's A7S III, which some slated will never see the light of day, is actually announced, and it will come out pretty much right after the R5 is announced.
Well, I mean, they're
Or they're gonna announce it.
The
after that.
R5 has already been announced.
Yeah.
Canon has
once it's
already
announced
officially
to
announced it.
release, once the
Right.
release date's available.
And that will be, I don't know, dude. I honestly, I don't know. Like, I really don't. Like, it could be really good. Most of the stuff Sony's been doing has still been very good. But there's still also this air around Sony that, like, it's probably still going to suck in a way. Or there's doubt that they have fixed the traditional Sony flaws that people have wanted fixed for a very long time.
Yeah. Flip screen.
Probably not going to have one. Probably not going to have a menu system that actually makes sense. It's still probably going to be a shitty, weird body that sucks to hold. Like that's what I'm most worried about. But with how crazy the R5 is supposed to be, like, to keep the spec sheet win that Sony's famous for, like, you got to do a lot then.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to see what they're going to release. I imagine what we're going to see is just a spec bump. I can't imagine we're going to see a completely different camera system, just because Canon's been hyping this up for how long now? A year? It's been like a slow dribble of
Almost,
fucking
yeah.
Canon news for a whole year, hyping this whole new mirrorless system that they've been, hyping up. Where Sony's, I mean, it's been around, and this is just like
Now, if
this
they
was just
announce the
released on
R-
Sony Alpha Rumors. The guy was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna release something right after the R5." That's like, it's not gonna be a groundbreaking new camera. There's no way. Could be.
The thing, though, to think about too is the idea behind the R5 release is they're also going to officialize the R6 and whatever that is. So maybe the A7S III comes out to compete with the R6.
Oh, right.
That could also be a possibility.
Oh, you're right. That actually would make so much more sense because they're same in price. The R6 is coming out, or they're rumored to be $2,500. This camera would come out around the same price. That's what the original came out as. And then it would just be the spec bump to 4K 60. It would be, maybe, I don't know, some other
I
stuff.
just want 4K 120 and a body that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
And good dynamic range.
Yeah.
And a flippy screen. And IBIS.
Oh, yeah.
I just want an R6.
You just want an R6.
I just want an R6.
Or no, because the R6 is 4K 60. You want an R5 now.
I want
we don't know. We don't know if that's
I want the
100%.
middle child, basically. I don't give a shit about 8K.
Me either.
Like, fuck your 8K. It's useless.
Me either, but I would
to be
pay that
honest.
extra bump for 4K 120 over 60.
Yeah, Like
I would
that's what
pay
I
that.
want more. Is I want the 4K 120. I don't give a shit about the 8K at all.
Yeah.
But like, if you could give me the 4K camera that does 4K 120, yeah, I'd buy that.
With the
Hell
flip
yeah.
screen, with the IBIS. Oh, wait.
That actually works, but also hopefully, preferably has good dynamic range.
Yeah.
Because that's what I also really want to see.
It'll
them
have
going
good. And
after.
the C-Log's good as long as you shoot in C-Log. The standard. Not good.
It is, but it's. See, what I'm worried about with some
It's
of
not
these
like an RE,
cameras.
but it's pretty good.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be an RE, but it's just like with some of these, I do wonder and worry where it's like, all right, so if the R5 comes out and it's, $6,000 and you still have to spend $1.50 on memory cards for it, you're talking about like,
Yeah. That's what
you're looking at a 6 or 7K camera,
yeah.
then it's competing against C200 in my opinion. It's not competing against a regular mirrorless.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
And-
That's the consumer's plight, I think.
Right. And based off of just the EOS R, yeah, C-Log's pretty good, but like compared to a C200, it's dog shit. Like
I would
it's
disagree.
it's not good enough to me personally.
I would disagree.
And that's just dealing with the sensor. In comparisons, like it's really good for a mirrorless camera. I wanted to push what the regular little mirrorless camera is and push that more towards competing with a cine camera than they currently do, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you spec it up, where you're basically, you're adding another few $100 on like an Atomos, you can do the 10-bit. The C-Log looks really good on the EOS R. Now,
Oh, yeah, if you do an Atomos, that yeah.
I'm
okay.
wondering if
I'm just talking like
there's any,
in body, like it's
yeah.
when
Yeah,
you compare
actually, do we
footage
know if
like
the
next
EOS R is
like
the EOS?
next to each other, it's not that. I mean, it's good, but it's not that great.
Yeah, let me see. Okay, so you will have 10-bit in the EOS R or R5 body, so that's gonna make a pretty big difference.
That'll definitely help. But I just want them to keep pushing it there, because even if you're running 8-bit on both of them, like a C200 still slaps it like an EOS R. And now that's fair because those are different price points to me. You should get a lot more for that price difference. But if they're going to start costing similar price, I care more about seeing similar performance there than like
I
cool, it has
disagree.
8K that I'm not going to use.
You can see comparisons where they basically grade exactly the same. So I imagine that this is going to be even that you're not even going to need an external recorder with the R5 to just grade it near a cinema camera. Again, though, you're spending a lot more money on memory card on those CFast cards, which is going to bump it up. You're also spending into the RF mount, which is an expensive mount right now. So you are, you're getting up there in price. If this is coming out around $3,000-$4,000, you're getting up there in price.
I guess tomato. I still haven't. I have seen EOS R footage that has blown me away, but at the same time, a lot of it's getting there, but it's still not there yet. I want to see him push it to being there.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
sure. I'm excited though. We
Like,
find out Friday.
That's what I want to see personally. Like that's what would get me fucking super hyped more than just being like, you could fill a memory in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to like how much further they can go.
So I can down crop
Like,
it
what's
for a
the
1080p fucking YouTube screen.
Like, where do they go after this camera? 12K? You know what I mean? Like 8K HDR 444.
No, they start actually. What I'm also, I think it's gonna be kind of similar to early 4K and stuff like that, where it's like, it'll start heading towards the direction of the current EOS R dilemma, where the EOS R is currently a very good camera because its 1080p is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Because not all 1080p is equal. It's gonna start going in that direction, I think, because we're not gonna really need to push past 8K for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
all right, so this is probably what they're doing. They're probably going
it's
to do
taken till
these.
2020 to be able to get 4K on fucking Apple. Like,
Yeah.
where they had to push to 8K ain't gonna be that quick.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see where their cinema lineup comes in now. So we know they're doing mirrorless cinema cameras, and where that falls in the line is going to be very fascinating on how they push that. I can't wait to see what they do this week. We finally get the release date. We get everything. If they say pre-orders open now, I'm swiping the card. And depending on which is which, I might have to go the R5 with the 4K 120.
Like that does seem really interesting to me. Personally, I'm gonna sit here and wait because I want to see footage first, and then also I want the C100. That's really what I want.
I know, me
I don't
too.
want either of these.
I want
cameras.
one of them.
just
I want
the
to
C100.
see 100 too. If they came out with both, I would buy both. I would buy both. I'd have to swipe both and say, Kate, we're gonna have to push that trip back a couple years,
Yeah,
and then buy.
I just want the C100
10
or like
CF
a
Express cards.
Mom,
for
I want a
what I
big
really
20
want is I
grand.
want Sony or Canon to just say fuck it. Here's a Blackmagic Pocket 4K.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Like that's what I really want to see.
I
them
would
do, is
argue
just
that
like,
this is that. The R5 is that.
I know. I mean, like an actual Pocket 4K. I mean, here's a
Yeah, I know what you mean.
$2,000 camera that is with our cine quality.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want. Like, fuck everything else. Like, just try to do that, which they won't do because that will galvanize their high end line. It makes sense why they don't do it. But like, that would be cool to me to see.
Like in my opinion, these cameras, these have like some insane video specs. I can't even like, this might even halt any sort of cinema camera that I would want, any sort of like C100, C200, unless I really needed like those mini XLR jacks or XLR jacks. If I really wanted like legit preamps in the body, just because you're getting so much hybridness out of it, it might even take the place of both of that for me.
That's where I'm different. I want to just go back and buy a Cinecam. I already have the nice hybrid.
Yeah.
And then I'm really happy with Fuji for a hybrid. I don't feel like I need to ever replace this thing, so I'm not going to buy a new camera based off of being a good hybrid. I have a good hybrid that's, I mean, this whole thing's like 400 grams. I can take it anywhere I want, even if I'm lugging a Cine around. You know what I mean? It's not like this is never going to be on me. It's always on me. It's fucking 400 grams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I don't need a second hybrid
Yeah.
unless it's a really fucking good hybrid. Where maybe they'll win. Maybe who knows? I can have my mind blown. That's what I'm hopeful for.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope they show video too. I hope they don't just show the product.
Yeah.
Again. Let me see.
But I think they have to with the amount they've hyped up the 8K and stuff like that.
They have to
Like,
show it off.
You have to show it, especially
And not
because
in the stream that they did last time where it was low quality. It was like mushy looking. No, I want a 4K stream.
Yeah, but like I think they have to do that too, just because all of their other hype material too was like, remember when the 5D Mark II was the best camera in the world? Why was that camera was the best camera in the world? Because it was the first camera to be like, cool, here's good 1080p. That's why people bought it. They bought it for good video. That's why that camera was popular. That's why it was such the hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if that's like their marketing shtick is all based off of this good first video DSLR, they gotta show video, right?
Yeah. They
Right?
have to. If they don't, I'm going to be vastly disappointed. They have
Or
to.
they-
They have to. They better.
And like Peter McKinnon's already got one or something, so you'll at least hopefully see someone
Yeah.
instantly dropping
True.
like, here's at least a look at video.
Yeah, true.
But
All right. Scott McWade says, let's return to film.
I kind of
Yeah.
agree and disagree. But it's got a
Film video? No, I'll pass on that.
Yeah, I do like it for pictures. Have you ever actually done like film development?
Yeah, not
It's
for
fun,
not
dude.
for video, but for photos, yeah.
Yeah, photo was fun. That was an entire thing for high school for me. Is we actually had like a whole dark room and I got to do it all like ourselves.
No,
and shit.
it's a
That was
blast.
fun.
You bring the girl you're talking to in the dark room. You develop some pictures.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Having
It's
a good time.
Yeah, yeah. I do miss the dark room, but then again, I also like 12 frames per second.
Wow.
All right.
True.
Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you guys
I gotta
next week. No more. Go ahead. What are you saying?
I was just saying, like, yeah, I mean, again, going back to why I don't need another hybrid. I have a 400-gram camera with attachable lenses that shoots at 14 frames per second
Yeah.
mechanical shutter. Like, I'm good, dude.
Yeah. I'm not missing film that much. But we'll catch you guys next week. No more abuse stories, hopefully. Hopefully we don't have to cover anything like that. And Tuesday, 6:30. I'll see you guys tomorrow for midweek critique, 5 p.m. Eastern, and then Friday live mixing. All right, guys. Peace.